Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today I am reviving my Urban Decay Born to Run palette. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Or if you're new to these videos, every month I pick one older palette in my collection and I revive it from the cobwebs. This means I create 2 different looks with the palette or more if I wish, and I try to create looks in these videos that I know I haven't created before, maybe use some shades that I haven't used or haven't used very much. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the first look. So one shade I'm pretty sure I've never used in the palette is this shade right here called Smog. It's very bronzy, antique-y looking. I'm going to apply this first with the old phalange and then we're going to go from there. I'm going to apply this all over my lid, starting on the outer portion of the lid, and I mean all the way out on the lid, and then I'm going to bring it in. I'm in kind of a weird mood today. It's Monday, aka the Monday after, I was going to say spring break, Christmas break, holiday break, winter break, whatever they call it, and I'm kind of giddy. I love my children, but it was time for them to go back to school, and it was time for me to just get back to my schedule, get a little alone, being able to recharge my battery time. They always, I don't know, I once heard this said at church, all week you're pouring out of yourself, you're giving of yourself, you're doing things for other people, and so on, and then going to church and or doing something for yourself, self-care, that kind of thing is like filling your pitcher back up so you continue to have wherewithal to pour out during the following week. And I've always felt like that was true. Now that I have this applied all over my lid, I'm going to go in with a very small blending brush. This is pretty flat top, and this one actually happens to be duo fiber, so it has some longer bristles and some shorter bristles. It doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be duo fiber, but it does need to be smaller. And what we're going to do is essentially just start working this brush in our crease, and it's going to naturally cause some of the pigment that we placed on the lid to start coming up in the crease. And I gotta tell you, you could absolutely do a one shadow look and like do this part and be done, or do this part and add a inner corner highlight or a lower lash line and be done, and it's just a really quick way to get out the door. I also kind of apply my cream shadows like this, where I'll put them all over the lid, and then I'll take a brush similar to this and just kind of bring it up to the crease by way of blending. So as you can see, that essentially created a transition shade for us. It doesn't look overly shimmery. Not that I have an issue with putting shimmers in my crease or transition. And then taking this very pointy pencil brush, I'm going to take the same shade and do the lower lash line, starting on the very, very outer V and working our way in. And I'm not going to go very heavy today just because that's not what I'm feeling, but you could definitely smoke this out as much as you want. I want just a little something to sort of soften the edges of the first shade that we used. So I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is Weekender. And this is very, very light, almost, similar to the shade of my skin. I'm just going to take this right on the edge of that first shade, just to have make sure we have a really nice blend and even a little bit more of a gradient. Like I said, if you rather, well, you could go in with any color. You could take a pink and blend it out. I mean, you could just use whatever you want. one more shade and this eye look will be complete. And that shade is going to be Big Sky. This is definitely a shade I've used in the palette. I love this shade. And again, I'm going to go in with my phalange. So we're using a real minimal amount of brushes as well. And I'm probably going to bring this into almost the halfway point. Just because for me, this is too high. For me, this is a daytime look. And once you get to about where you're gonna stop, you can just take your fingertip and tap back and forth. So you get a nice blend. And I'm gonna pick up the same Blue Sky shade here. And I'm gonna wrap it around my tear duct and bring it in about halfway on the lower lash line. I am gonna spray it just because I feel like I'm going to need to. All we have left is an inner corner and maybe a brow bone. I do have a shade in the palette, so I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Breakaway for the inner corner. And I think this is more of a satin shade, which is definitely my preference. I definitely prefer either a satin or matte inner corner highlight a lot of times these days because I just think it's more flattering on my eyes, which are getting to have a little bit more texture. I always bring my inner corner highlight up like a swoop in front of the transition, and I just like the way it looks. I like the lift that it gives to the eye. And then I'm also bringing up just a teeny bit to brighten the lid, and then just along the tear duct on the lower lash line. I don't think I want a brow bone highlight today, so what I'm going to do is pop off of here, do some mascara and a lip, and I'll come back and tell you what I used, and we'll wrap up the first look. All right, we are back and finished. So I wanted to mention that lately I like eyeliner. I'm just terrible at applying it. And even this Marc Jacobs gel liner, which I love, like to actually put it on my lid, it's super thick. It's too thick. So I've been using this little teeny tiny angle brush that I got in a set of brushes and using it that way. And I think it works really well. So I'm excited about that. So I did use the Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade Earthquake and the Pixie Eye Bright Liner in Nude and the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. And then for lips from my Shop My Stash, I used the Revlon Super Lustrous Lip in the shade Smoky Rose. I think it's really pretty. And then just because I wanted a little gloss and a little bit more pink to my lips, I went in with my Rimmel Stay Glossy lip gloss in the shade Blushing Belgraves. That's hard to say. So this is the look. I actually did end up going in with brow bone highlight. I just felt like it was missing once I got the mascara and everything on. But I do really like how this look turned out. I really like that shade Smog that we went in with first. I just put my whole hand in the palette. Good job. This shade right here that I haven't used before, I really like that. And I think that would be a really great one shadow look, like I said, and then pop something on the inner corner maybe and throw in some mascara and you'll be done. I'm really into like short and concise looks lately. Life. But I hope you enjoyed this look and stay tuned for day 2 and look 2. Hi guys, welcome to the second look with my Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I'm just kind of feeling kind of a gold smoky eye, if you will. We're gonna have a lightly smoky look today, I think. I have on my Smashbox lid primer and I did not set it and we're ready to go. Again, I try to create looks in these videos that I haven't created before. So I'm kind of looking at the palette and seeing and taking in what shades haven't really been used. I think for a transition, I'm going to mix a little bit of Weekender and Riff, these two right here. I like that this series is kind of coinciding with my Shop My Stash series so that I'm able to really concentrate on the palettes that I pull into my Shop My Stash. Now I'm going in just with Riff here. Again, just adding this to the transition, but trying to keep it ever so slightly lower in the crease, as well as, you know, on the outer half or so of the eye here, and just sort of building ourselves a nice transition. Never forget that you can always mix colors. A lot of palettes have a lighter or a cream colored shadow that you can use to mix with your shadows to lighten them up and make them perfect for your skin tone or for what you're looking for. And then for the actual creasel region, I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is called Punk. This is also a warmer brown, and we are going for a warmer smoky eye, even though that seems like possibly an oxymoron. Making sure to tap off my brush a whole ton because I want to have full control of the amount of pigment that goes into the crease. And then again, making sure that the bulk of the pigment is on the outer half of the crease before I start working it in. While we're in this deep shade, I'm going to take a flat definer brush here and go ahead and take this just on about the outer third of the lower lash line. Like, it still looks pretty warm, but I still want to blend it out just a touch. So we're going to go back into the previous shades, Weekender and Riff. Very light pressure because we don't want this to get too much darker. We just want to soften the edge of that darker brown that we just used, like that. All right, now I'm going to go in with just a little bit of this shade right here, which is called Double Life, and just place this on about the outer third of the lid, starting down at the lash line and working up to the crease, not into the crease. And we're essentially just covering up the brown that was on the outer part of the lid. And now for the gold. We're going to go into this gold right here called Stranded. I don't use this shade a lot. I'm certain I haven't, because I really haven't been that much into gold the last couple of years. But I'm really into it now thanks to the Natasha Denona gold palette. I'm first taking it on a brush. I'm going to kind of do a base layer, and then I'll go back and intensify with the phalange. One thing overall with this palette I will say is I think the metallics in this palette are more shimmers. They just aren't real metallic anyways. I don't know. I don't find them to be as shiny as one would think, I guess. It's kind of a dull gold, isn't it? I'm gonna go in with this shade Baja right here and pat that back and forth between the shimmer brown and the gold, just for a nice blend, and again, add a little bit of warmth back into the look, allegedly. I really like doing this, where I take more of a mid-tone or even a pop of color, if you can call it that, and use it in between the light shimmer and the dark shimmer. I feel like it has a nicer blend than going from light to dark, as well as, like, you know, just adds a little bit of color to the look, adds a little interest to the eye. And I actually think I'm going to take what's left on this brush and use it to blend out the darker brown matte on the lower lash line, just for a hint of that orange. I think for the inner corner, to wrap it up, I'm going to go into this shade Blaze. It's, again, not super metallic, but it does have like a pinky peachy quality to it, and I think it'll go nice with the rest of the warmth that we have going on here on the eyes. This is the gold that I tend to reach for more so in this palette, but it's really nice. And I already used the cream shade in the previous look for the inner corner, so why not do something different? Again, I'm bringing this up in front of the deeper gold. I'm even going to bring this up just a titch onto the lid. All I have left that I would want to do is a brow bone highlight. Since we didn't use the cream on the inner corner, I'm going to pop that up under the arch of the brow. I don't always want a brow bone highlight, but when I do, I do. And that is it. I like this look. I'm gonna pop off of here, do some liner and mascara and a lip, and then we'll come back and finish off the video and my final thoughts on reviving my Born to Run palette. All right, we're back and better than ever. I did add a little bit more blush and bronzer, and I finished off the look with this new eyeliner that I picked up from the holiday collection from Kiko Milano. It's their Magical Holiday Duo eyeliner, and I can't see the shade names, but this side is green and this side is champagne, and they were both shades I was looking to bring back into my collection. And then for the lips, I lined with the ColourPop Lippy Liner in the shade BFF2. And also for my Shop Mustache, I wanted to say a Project Pan, Shop My Stash, I applied the Super Lustrous Lip from Revlon in the shade Rum Raisin. Definitely a favorite. Oh, and I used Lash Paradise from L'Oreal on the lashes. So this is what it looks like. I actually really love how this look came out, and I've really enjoyed reviving this palette. So I've used 10 out of the 21 shades in these two looks, and I'll also refer you to my Shop My Stash video in which I did a third eye look in case you want more inspiration. And I kind of went the little berry route in that video. So I just really enjoy this type of video. I love reviving old palettes, getting new inspiration, using what I have, and I want to encourage you to do the same whether you have this palette or not. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can let me know down in the comments which was your favorite look if you like, and I want to thank each and every single one of you who continues to like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't forget to turn on those notifications so you're notified every single time I upload 4 days a week. And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful, revived makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon.